Hello everyone, my name is Bobosif, or Bo. This is going to be a video detailing Urgot in the most recent patch 5.5. If many of you know me, I'm a very big Urgot fanatic. I think he's a pretty solid champion, despite popular belief. I've actually carried my fair share of games with him, but anyway, I'm just gonna run down through this. If you don't know anything about Urgot, basically he's a champion that revolves around manipulating damage on himself and opponents, such as his Q and auto attacks reduce all damage that a target deals by 15% for 2.5 seconds, and in addition, his E provides a great deal of armor penetration along with damage over time, scaling from AD. And the most recent buff to his W actually gives him bonus damage, or not bonus damage, bonus shield for your total mana. Here's the actual portion of the patch. If you saw it, some people thought it was not so good because they reduced his base actual shield, but they put in 8% total mana, and they actually made his ult a lower cooldown at later ranks. Basically, this just allows Urgot to get a big shield for nothing compared to like what he had before. So for items, when you open Urgot, whether you play him top lane or AD carry, which are his two big lanes, I suggest going either Flask with 2 to 3 health pots and a mana pot, or even 2 mana pots if you really want. Or if you want to go really aggressive in lane and do some early damage, you can go Longsword, and then your choice of like 3 health pots, 3 mana pots, or just you have 3 pots, you can split it up between the two. It varies depending on most matchups. If you need to sustain more health, if you want to do more damage, mana. Your general goals for itemization are going to be, you want a lot of mana because of the W buff. You want a good deal of armor penetration, and you want to try to cap out at 40% CDR. Alright, from the W buff, this is just dealing with the mana. Frozen Heart is an item that gives you 400 mana. At 8% you get 32. Iceborne Gauntlet, fully stacked mana immune, and then Urgot himself just at level 18 from max mana. So these are all the amounts, and it's going to end up giving you at level 18, once you have it fully maxed, it's going to give you 471.76 shield on a 7.2 second cooldown because of your 40% CDR. And the shield does do 5 more at level 1 because Urgot's base is 312, and at 8% it'll give you like here they dropped his base from 80 to 60 at level 1, but it's actually going to give you 25 just because of your total mana and base on Urgot. And the big reason I really like this is it allows you to scale really well just from levels. Like the second you get your tier of the gods for this item, I mean, you're going to automatically start stacking up this much mana just from sitting there, and when you do that, it makes your W more powerful. It allows you to gain more strength in your shield without actually having to put points into it, which I think was a really good idea. Something else to note, which I'll be going on into a little bit later, is the fact that this item, Frozen Heart, will give you 20%, Iceborne Gauntlet will give you 10%, and your Brutalizer will give you 10% as well. That will cap out your 40% CDR. So in runes and masteries, that can be a problem if you don't want to go over 40% CDR, but I'll go over that when I go into some quick itemizations. Bruiser, Urgot. Basically, your core damage would be your Man Immune and Muramana and Black Cleaver. You want this and this for your cooldown reduction, and this provides you, because of your Bruiser, it gives you the tankiness you need, especially in the mana for your W. You want to go defensive boots in this build. And then your final items, basically, you can go Banshee's Veil. It's usually a good option, but against full ED comps, you're going to want to go like Ninja Tabby and Thornmail. Last Whisper is a good item if you're ahead or your team needs more armor shred and you want to deal a little bit more damage. Past that, I would say 2 defensive items, or if like it's really late game and you want to build a GA instead of Last Whisper, when Last Whisper wouldn't be that good, just build a GA and then sell your GA for like a Banshees or like a Thornmail or Randuin's or whatever you generally want to go for. Tank Urgot. I know this is very descriptive, but you grab this and you go tank. Same. It's almost the same thing as this, but you don't need this in your build, because what you're going to be doing is just completely soaking up damage and primarily like not trying to do plays. Honestly, I find these 2 builds not as fun, but if you're falling behind, these 2 builds are going to be what you're going to want to go for. So if you don't really know the champion, then it's going to be something that you're going to want to look over and decide whether or not you want to try to get back in the game or become a peeler for your team. This is personally my favorite build on Urgot. Youmuu's is slipping, but I go Man Immune into like boots, into usually I'll go Sheen and Brutalizer, and then I'll end up completing items in whatever order. Usually I'll get Bloodthirster last, but this basically gives you a ton of damage. I've been able to take a late game Graves as Urgot. The reason is there's a lot of steroids in this build. You can get 40% CDR, 10 here, 15 here, and 10 here, and then 5 in Masteries. So you just cap that out pretty quickly. Iceborne Gauntlet deals a pretty decent bit of damage in Urgot's kit. The on-hit Man Immune to Muramana does a lot based on how much mana you actually have at the given point in time, and Iceborne does a good job with that to keep your mana up. And then Youmuu's allows you to auto attack faster with this, so it's almost like having 3 extra like buffs on your champion, and most of the time that can outdo a lot of champions. If Urgot had a better kit to run Blade of the Ruin King, I would definitely recommend that too. But this is the build I enjoy. You can cap out your 40% CDR here with the cooldown reduction mastery page. Alright, for runes, I think this is pretty standard to go on Urgot. You're going to want to go AD Quints. You want to go health per level or armor seals. I go flat MR glyphs in every matchup just because, I don't know, I just like it more than scaling on Urgot. I'm weird. And then you want to go full armor pen reds. Something else that could be viable is switching up your defensive runes or grabbing armor pen on the Quints. For masteries, again, like the only difference in these 2 mastery pages would be that you take 4 points in sorcery here and 4 points in fury here. Like if you have the intention of grabbing the maximum sort of like if it's an AD comp and you want to grab everything you can, for this you will have 40% CDR with these 2 items and your Brutalizer item, whether it be Cleaver or Youmuu's. So in that case, if you have that intention, I'd say go with the second mastery page over here. However, if you don't have the intention to completely like cap out your CDR just in items and you want like a little bit early game CDR, you can grab the Ionian boots and then 2 10% CDR items. Or if you grab Ionian boots and find, wow, I'm kind of falling behind, you can just grab a Frozen Heart. They'll both help you in the end. But otherwise, like, the mastery pages kind of just focus on actually abusing, like, just the things that Urgot allows you to give. Spell weaving and blade weaving would probably be really good too. I'd say if you want to run those, take points out of Warlord and throw them in there. If you want to grab a point and expose weakness, you can just completely drop Warlord. 921 could probably work on Urgot too. I've just never found it fun. And yeah, something else I forgot to mention was this, like, this 471.76 shield is just from the mana and base. However, this shield has a 80% AP scaling, so items like Frozen, Iceborne Gauntlet will actually give you bonus AP. Like, let me see. Iceborne Gauntlet will give you like 30 AP. I've seen people build Trinity Force, so I mean that will give you a very minute bit of shield too. That's what I kind of like Bloodthirster for this reason too. But yeah, that's just my generally quick. I mean, it's like 11 minutes. Generally quick rundown on Urgot and how to do things with him, with just his setup. I've found that this buff is very good for him. It's kind of what he needs to, you know, be more viable. Will we see him in the LCS? Probably not, but I think this just lets him be a whole lot stronger. And for people like Chimo Popika, who is, like, if you don't know him, look him up. He's Diamond Urgot, who basically played Urgot in every lane. A buff like this would make him, like, wet himself. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope this video was helpful in any way, shape, or form, and I will see you guys later.